Hi, in this video we are going to see how to create threads in Java. There are two ways of creating threads in Java. One way is by extending the thread class and another way is implement the runnable interface. So in this video we are going to see how to create threads by extending the thread class. So let us see the code. First we will create a thread class by extending the thread class. So I have child thread, so you can write like this: class child thread extends thread. Okay, so inside this, let us this thread class has a method public void run. So let us implement that method public void run. So inside this run method, we have to write the code which we want to execute as a thread. Okay. So whatever code you want to execute as a thread, we can write the code inside this run method. So what we are going to do is we are simply going to print child thread. That's it. Okay. So let us have a for loop now. Int I equal to 5. Okay. I is greater than 0. Then decrement I. Okay. So inside this for loop, we'll print system dot out dot println. Let us print child thread. Okay, let us print child thread. Also, we will print println, and we print child thread, and also you will print the value of I. Okay, so this is what we have done here, and we need to make the thread to sleep for some time. So by doing so, we can concurrently execute more than one thread. So this is how we do it. So this the sleep method. So at line number 10 we can see there is a method we have called sleep method. This method make that thread sleeps for some time. So here we have mentioned the time 500. 500 is 500 milliseconds. So this thread will sleep for 500 milliseconds. And this sleep method actually throws exception, interrupted exception. So we have to handle that by using the try catch block. That is why we have to try catch block. We write that call that method inside the try block, and we have a catch block. And at line number 16 we have written child thread exiting. Okay, so we have a for loop. So for loop should ends here. I think it should end. I think it should end here. It should end here. Try block and catch block. Catch block is here, and our for loop is here. Okay, it looks it's okay. I think. Then thread class is actually it should end here. Thread class ends here. So thread class this child thread class ends here. Okay, and our for loop ends here. This is not necessary, I suppose. Okay, it is so. Run method ends here. Okay, for loop ends here, and so we need to have this here. Right now it is fine. It looks like it is fine. So now we are in the main thread. That is the main class. So inside the main method, we need to have another for loop because we can make the main main code also get executed as a parallel thread. So inside the main method, you have to create the object of this child thread class. So we will do that now. Child thread, my child thread, or we can simply give the name as M or C, whatever it is. New child thread. Okay. So now what we do is let us call. We have to invoke the start method. So in order to make the thread to start, okay. So we have to call the start method, right? So that we have done that. Okay. So it is C actually. Now what we do is let us have a for loop inside the uh, main method of this class also. Okay, so let us do that part now. Copy this code and keep it here. So here also we have the for loop. So inside the for loop we will print main thread, and we will make the main thread to sleep for 1000 milliseconds. So why it is? Because we want to make this thread main thread to exit at the exit later. That is, we want the child threads to sleep, complete its task first, then the main thread to complete. That is why we are making this thread to sleep 10,000 milliseconds, but the child thread sleeps for 500 milliseconds. So child thread will complete it first, then the main thread will complete. So now what we do is, and here also we will make the we will make it main thread interrupting, then main thread exiting. Okay, so let us once again quickly see the code. So we have a class called child thread which extends thread class. So we will make the class as a thread. Now inside the run method we use the for loop to iterate for 5 times. So that it will print child thread for 5 times. In between we make the thread to sleep for 500 millisecond so that it will give the processor for the main thread to execute. So in the main class we have the main method main thread. This class has a main method, and inside the main method we create the object of the child thread class, and we call the start method. So start method will make the thread to start execution, and inside the main method we have the for loop. We print main thread for 5 times. We make this thread to sleep for 1000 milliseconds. Okay, it will make the child thread to finish first, then the main thread. So now we are going to run this code and see the output, how the output looks like. Okay, so let us run this code now and see how it works. See this output now. See, it is printing this way. So let us see this output. First main thread 5 it is printed, then child thread 5 prints, then child thread exiting, that is it exit from the for loop, right, from the first iteration. Then child thread 4, then main thread exiting. So alternatively the main thread and child thread executes, right, both threads uses the processor parallelly, that is concurrently both threads are executed. So this is how we can make threads in Java. This is one way of creating thread, that is by extending the thread class.